Jake Morrison wiped the sweat from his forehead as he checked the cargo manifest one more time. The New Horizon was loaded with enough supplies to keep the miners on Kepler 442b happy for 3 months. Food, medicine, mining equipment, and spare parts filled every available space in the cargo hold. "Captain, we're ready for departure," said Lisa Chang from the engine room. Her voice crackled through the intercom with the usual static that Jake kept meaning to fix but never found time for. "Copy that, Lisa. Danny, fire up the engines. Sam, secure the medical bay. We launch in 10 minutes. Danny Rodriguez sat in the pilot's seat, his fingers dancing across the control panel. The man could fly anything with engines, and he made it look easy. "All systems green, Captain. Course plotted for Kepler 442b. Should be a smooth ride." Sam Carter finished organizing the medical supplies in his small but well-equipped bay. As the ship's doctor, he made sure they were prepared for any emergency. Space was dangerous and help was always far away. The New Horizon lifted off from Earth Station 7 right on schedule. Jake had been running cargo between Earth and the outer colonies for 8 years. It was honest work, and somebody had to keep the frontier supplied. The pay was decent and he liked his crew. Lisa was the best engineer he had ever worked with. Danny could pilot through an asteroid field blindfolded. Sam had saved all their lives more than once. 3 days into the journey, they were cruising through the Vega system when the trouble started. Jake was drinking coffee in his quarters when the proximity alarm went off. He rushed to the bridge, where Danny was staring at the sensor display. "What do we have?" Jake asked. "Unknown vessel, Captain, dead ahead about 5,000 kilometers. Not showing up on any registry." Jake studied the readings. The ship was big, maybe twice the size of the New Horizon. No identification beacon, no response to their standard greeting. Life signs? Hard to tell from this distance. The hull is blocking most scans. "Could be a derelict," Lisa said, joining them on the bridge. "Might be salvage rights." Jake thought about it. Salvage could mean good money, but it could also mean trouble. "Let's get closer. Scan for any hazards first." The New Horizon moved slowly toward the unknown ship. As they got closer, the details became clearer. The vessel was sleek and angular, built for speed. It did not look human. "That's not one of ours," Sam said, studying the design. "The proportions are all wrong for human use." "Alien ship?" Danny asked. "Has to be. But what's it doing out here? This is a main shipping route." Jake made a decision that would change everything. "Take us alongside. Prepare for possible boarding, but keep the engines warm in case we need to run." They moved closer to the strange ship. The hull was dark metal with patterns that looked almost like scales. There were no visible windows or external weapons, but Jake had learned not to trust appearances in space. "Captain," Lisa called from her station, "I'm getting some weird readings. Their power systems are active, but they're running. Silent. Silent running usually means they don't want to be detected," Sam observed. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "Danny, start backing us away. Nice and slow." But it was too late. The alien ship came alive. Lights blazed along its hull as weapons. Ports opened. Before Danny could react, a beam of energy struck the New Horizon. Every system on the ship went dead at once. Emergency power kicked in after a few seconds, bathing everything in red light. The engines were offline. Communications were down. Life support was running on backup power. "What the hell was that?" Danny shouted. "Electromagnetic pulse," Lisa said, already running diagnostics. "They fried every major system. We're dead in space." Through the viewports, they could see the alien ship moving closer. Docking clamps extended from its hull like metal arms reaching for them. "They're boarding us," Jake said. "Everyone listen carefully. This is not a rescue. This is not pirates looking for cargo. Look at that ship. Look at how they disabled us without destroying us. They want us alive." "Slavers?" Sam asked. "Maybe. Or worse." Jake activated the internal communication system, which was still working on backup power. "All hands. Condition red. We are being boarded by hostile aliens. This is not a drill." The ship shuddered as the alien vessel locked onto their hull. Jake could hear the sound of cutting tools working on the outer airlock. "How long until they get through?" he asked. Lisa checked her readings. 5 minutes, maybe less. They have good equipment. Jake's mind raced. The New Horizon was not a warship. They had no weapons beyond a few sidearms that probably would not work against alien technology. But Jake had something that might be better than weapons. He had knowledge of his own ship and a crew that trusted him. "Here's what we do. We disappear. Lisa, can you shut down all non-essential systems? Make it look like the ship is completely dead? Already on it, Captain. Danny, I need you to remember every maintenance tunnel, every crawl space, every hiding spot on this ship. We're going to use them." "Got it." "Sam, grab whatever medical supplies you can carry. We might need them." The sound of cutting tools grew louder. Jake looked at his crew and saw fear in their eyes, but also determination. They were good people, and they deserved better than whatever these aliens had planned. "One more thing," Jake said. "We don't know what these aliens want, but we know they went to a lot of trouble to take us alive. That means they underestimate us. They think we're helpless. Let's show them how wrong they are." The cutting stopped. Jake could hear movement in the airlock, heavy footsteps that did not sound human. "Move," Jake whispered. The crew scattered through the ship, disappearing into the maintenance areas that every spacer knew but few outsiders ever discovered. Jake was the last to leave the bridge, but first he did something that would prove crucial later. He activated the ship's internal security system and set it to record everything. If they were going to die, at least there would be evidence of what happened to them. The alien boarding party entered the New Horizon expecting to find frightened humans cowering in their quarters. Instead, they found an empty ship with no sign of the crew. The hunt was about to begin, but the aliens had no idea that the prey they were tracking had already started hunting them back. The aliens moved through the New Horizon like they owned the place. Jake watched them through the security cameras from his hiding spot in the maintenance tunnel above the main corridor. There were 6 of them, each one over 8 feet tall, with scales that shifted color from dark green to black. They had long arms that ended in claws, and their heads moved like snakes tasting the air. The leader was bigger than the rest. Jake could tell by the way the others followed him and waited for his signals. The alien spoke in a language that sounded like rocks grinding together, but somehow Jake understood the meaning. They were not here for cargo. They were here for sport. These things were hunters, and humans were their prey. Jake crawled through the tunnel to where Lisa was hiding near the power junction. She had her tools spread around her and was working on something in the dim light. "What are you doing?" Jake whispered. "Making them blind," Lisa said, not looking up from her work. "I can reroute power through the backup systems, make false heat readings all over the ship. Their vision seems to work on heat, so I can make them see ghosts." "Good thinking. How long?" "Give me 5 more minutes." Jake moved on to find Danny. The pilot was in the cargo bay, using his knowledge of the ship's layout to set up surprises for their visitors. He had pulled cables across walkways and moved heavy containers to create choke points. "They're big," Danny said quietly, "but they move like they expect everything to get out of their way. They don't look where they step." "What are you planning?" Danny pointed to a section of the floor where he had loosened the grating. "Maintenance pit underneath, 20-foot drop onto metal pipes. Won't kill one of those things, but it might slow them down." Jake nodded and went to find Sam. The doctor was in his medical bay, but he was not treating patients. He was studying the security feed on a portable monitor, taking notes. "Learning anything useful?" Jake asked. "Maybe. Watch this." Sam replayed a section of video showing one of the aliens turning his head. "See how he moves? The neck muscles are huge, but they only let him turn his head about 90 degrees each way. He has a blind spot directly behind him. What else? They're strong, but they're not flexible. Look at how they move through the corridors. They have to turn their whole body to look around corners, and their claws are too big for fine work. They're built for killing, not for thinking." Jake felt the first spark of hope he had felt since the attack. "Keep watching, find every weakness you can." He made his way back to his own hiding spot just as Lisa's plan went into effect. The ship's heat sensors began showing false readings all over the place. Hot spots appeared and disappeared in empty rooms. The aliens stopped moving and started hissing at each other in confusion. The leader spoke again, and this time Jake picked up more of the meaning. The alien was frustrated. This was supposed to be easy. The prey was supposed to run and hide in obvious places where they could be found and killed. Instead, the heat signatures were everywhere and nowhere. The aliens spread out to search the ship more carefully. This was exactly what Jake had hoped for. The first alien to go down was one of the smaller ones. He was moving through the cargo bay when he stepped on Danny's trap. The grating gave way, and the alien fell 20 feet onto the pipes below. The sound echoed through the ship like thunder. The alien was not dead, but he was hurt and angry. His roars brought the others running. Jake watched them cluster around the pit, trying to figure out how to get their teammate out. They were strong enough to lift him, but the narrow space made it difficult. More importantly, they were starting to realize that the humans were not helpless prey. Jake activated the ship's communication system. He had been listening to the aliens talk, and he thought he understood enough of their language to make himself heard. "Hunters," he said, using the grinding voice pattern they used. "You made a mistake." The aliens froze. They looked around, trying to figure out where the voice was coming from. "You think humans are prey?" Jake continued. "You think we are weak because we are small. You think we are stupid because we run and hide. You are wrong." The leader roared, something that Jake was pretty sure was a challenge to come out and fight. "Fighting is what you do," Jake said. "Thinking is what we do. You want to hunt us? Try to find us. But remember that on this ship we are not the prey. You are." Jake cut the communication and moved to a new position. The aliens were angry now, hissing and snarling as they searched for him. But anger made them careless. Lisa triggered the next part of her plan. She had rigged the artificial gravity system to create zones of altered gravity throughout the ship. One moment the aliens were walking normally. The next they were stumbling in low gravity or struggling against gravity that was twice normal. The humans, who had spent years working in space, adapted quickly to the changing conditions. The aliens, who relied on their physical strength and reflexes, found themselves off balance and disoriented. Sam had been right about their blind spots. Jake used this knowledge to move through the ship like a ghost, always staying behind them, always out of sight. He would appear just long enough to make noise or move something, then disappear before they could react. The aliens were getting frustrated. Jake could hear it in their voices as they talked to each other. This was not how a hunt was supposed to go. The prey was supposed to be afraid. Instead, the humans seemed to be playing with them. One of the aliens got separated from the group while searching the engine room. Lisa was ready for him. She had filled the room with steam by venting the cooling system, making it impossible for the alien to use his heat vision. Then she used her engineering tools to create noise and movement all around him. The alien spun, in circles, slashing at shadows while Lisa stayed safely out of reach in the maintenance tunnels above. She dropped a wrench that landed on the alien's head, making him roar with anger and embarrassment. The other aliens found him there, wild, with rage and no closer to catching any humans than when they started. Jake watched it all from the security monitors. The mighty hunters were starting to look less mighty. They were confused, frustrated, and beginning to make mistakes. But Jake knew this was just the beginning. The aliens were still dangerous, and they were learning from their failures. If the humans wanted to survive, they would have to stay one step ahead. The hunt was far from over, but for the first time, Jake was not sure who was hunting whom. The alien leader was getting angry. Jake could see it in the way he moved, the way he hissed orders at his hunters. 3 hours had passed since they boarded the New Horizon, and they had not caught a single human. Worse, they had lost 2 of their own to what they probably thought were accidents. Jake had other plans. He moved through the maintenance tunnels to reach the communication center. The aliens had not found this room yet because it was hidden behind a false wall that looked like part of the ship's structure. Jake had installed the secret room himself 2 years ago for emergency situations. He activated the long-range communications and began recording a message. If his crew did not survive, at least other humans would know what happened here. But more importantly, He was going to make sure these aliens understood exactly what they had gotten themselves into. Jake switched to the ship's internal speakers and began talking in the alien language he had been learning by listening to them. "Hunters of the scaled people," he said, making his voice echo through every corridor. "You came here looking for prey. You found something else." The aliens stopped moving and listened. Jake could see them on the security cameras, their heads turning as they tried to locate the source of his voice. "You think strength makes you the apex predator. You think claws and teeth and size make you the hunters. You are wrong. Let me tell you what makes humans dangerous." Jake paused, watching the aliens grow more agitated. "We are not the strongest. We are not the fastest. We are not the biggest. But we are the smartest. And smart beats strong every time." The leader roared something that sounded like a challenge. "You want proof?" Jake continued. "Look around you. You are trapped on our ship, breathing our air, walking in our gravity. Every system you see was built by humans. Every wire, every bolt, every panel. This entire environment is our weapon, and you walked right into it." Jake cut the communication and moved to his next position. The aliens were searching frantically now, but they were making noise and moving predictably. Their anger was making them sloppy. Lisa had been busy while Jake was talking. She had rerouted the atmosphere controls to specific sections of the ship. Now she could vent air from any room she wanted, forcing the aliens to use their emergency breathing gear. The equipment was bulky and limited their movement even more. Danny had prepared his next trap in the main corridor. He had weakened a section of the floor and rigged it to collapse when enough weight stepped on it. But this was not just a pit trap. The aliens would fall into the ship's waste processing system. Sam had made a discovery that would change everything. While studying the aliens on the security monitors, he noticed that they kept touching their necks. At first he thought it was a nervous habit, but then he realized what he was seeing. "Jake," Sam whispered into his communicator, "I figured out how they breathe. They have gills behind their ears, but they're covered by flaps of skin. If you can get to their necks, you can make them pass out." "Are you sure?" "Pretty sure. They keep adjusting something back there, and when the air got thin in the engine room, they all started touching their necks." This was the information Jake had been waiting for. The aliens were not invincible. They had weaknesses, and now the humans knew what they were. The next alien to fall was the one who had gotten angry in the engine room. He was moving through the main corridor, still furious and not paying attention to where he stepped. Danny's trap worked perfectly. The floor collapsed and the alien fell 15 feet into the waste processing area. The smell was horrible, but that was not the worst part. The waste processing system was automated, and it started its cleaning cycle with the alien still inside. High-pressure water jets hit him from all directions while rotating brushes tried to scrub him clean. The alien was strong enough to break free, but he was soaked, humiliated, and he smelled like the worst parts of human biology. When he climbed out, the other aliens actually backed away from him. Jake was ready with his next psychological attack. "Is this what apex predators look like?" he asked over the speakers. "Covered in waste? Confused by simple traps, unable to catch prey that is smaller and weaker than you?" The leader had had enough. He roared orders at his remaining hunters, and they split up again, but this time they were moving faster and taking more risks. This was exactly what Jake wanted. Desperate enemies make mistakes. Lisa triggered her atmosphere trap in the section where two of the aliens were searching. The air vented out quickly, and the aliens had to put on their breathing equipment. The gear covered their heads and made it even harder for them to see and hear. Jake used this opportunity to get close to one of them. He had found a piece of metal pipe in the maintenance area, and he planned to test Sam's theory about their breathing. The crew alien was moving slowly through the darkened corridor, his breathing apparatus making soft hissing sounds. Jake dropped from the ceiling behind him and swung the pipe at the alien's neck, right where Sam said the gills were. It worked. The alien went down immediately, not dead, but unconscious. Jake quickly moved away before the other aliens could find him. Now there were only 3 aliens left, and one of them was their leader. The odds were getting better, but Jake knew the remaining aliens would be the most dangerous. They were the smartest and strongest of the group. The leader did something Jake had not expected. He started talking to the humans in their own language. "Human captain," the alien said, his voice rough but understandable. "You fight well for prey. But this game is over. Surrender now, and your death will be quick." Jake laughed, making sure. The sound carried through the speakers. "You still don't understand, do you? We're not prey, we never were. You made the mistake of hunting humans on a human ship. This is our territory now." "Impossible. We are the apex predators of this sector. We have hunted for 1,000 years. "Then you've been hunting the wrong species," Jake said. "Let me show you what a real apex predator looks like." Jake activated the ship's rotation system. The New Horizon began to spin slowly, creating artificial gravity that pulled everything toward the outer hull. But Jake had set it up so different sections of the ship were spinning at different speeds. The aliens, who had never experienced anything like artificial gravity manipulation, found themselves stumbling and falling as the forces changed around them. The humans, who lived and worked in artificial gravity every day, moved through the changing conditions like they were born to it. The leader was alone now, separated from his remaining hunters by the ship's rotation. He was strong and smart, but he was also lost and confused in an environment that made no sense to him. Jake was ready for the final confrontation. The alien leader stood alone in the main corridor of the New Horizon. His breathing was heavy and his scales had turned a darker color that Jake guessed meant anger or fear. Maybe both. The mighty hunter who had boarded the ship expecting easy prey was now the last of his hunting party. Jake watched him through the security cameras. The alien was bigger than the others, smarter too. He had stopped falling for the simple traps and was moving more carefully. But he was also alone and in an environment that worked against everything he knew about hunting. "Commander," Jake said through the speakers, using the alien's own language, "your hunt is over." The leader looked around, trying to locate Jake's voice. "Show yourself, human. Face me like a warrior." "Why would I do that? You came here to hunt us for sport. You disabled our ship and boarded us like pirates. You want to kill my crew for fun. Why should I give you a fair fight?" "Because I am the apex predator of this sector. I deserve to die in battle." Jake almost laughed. "You still don't get it. There's no such thing as a fair fight when someone is trying to kill you. There's only winning and losing, and right now you're losing." Jake activated the ship's environmental controls. The temperature in the corridor began to drop quickly. The alien species was cold-blooded, and Jake could see the creature's movements getting slower as the air got colder. "Your people made one big mistake," Jake continued, moving through the maintenance tunnels to get closer to the alien. "You thought being an apex predator was about being the biggest and strongest. But that's not what made humans the apex predator on Earth." The alien was shivering now, his breath making clouds in the cold air. "What made you apex predators? We learned to use everything around us as a weapon. Fire, water, ice, gravity, air pressure, even waste disposal systems. We turned our entire environment into a tool for survival, and we never hunt alone." As if to prove his point, Lisa's voice came through the speakers. "Captain, I've got the engines back online. We can. Move whenever you're ready." Danny's voice followed. "All trap systems are armed and ready. He steps wrong anywhere and he's going down." Sam added, "Medical bay is prepared for any injuries, ours or his." The alien leader looked around with something that might have been respect. "Your pack works well together." "We're not a pack," Jake said, finally stepping out of the shadows where the alien could see him. Jake was holding the metal pipe he had used before, but he also had a device that Lisa had rigged up from spare parts. "We're a crew. We're a team. We work together because we choose to, not because we have to." The alien was nearly twice Jake's size, with claws that could cut through metal and muscles that could crush steel. But he was cold, tired, and alone on a ship where everything was designed to work against him. "I could still kill you," the alien said. "Maybe. But then what? Your ship is gone. My crew would vent you into space. You'd die alone, billions of miles from home, and for what? Because you wanted to hunt some humans for fun?" Jake held up the device Lisa had made. "This is a communication beacon. I've been recording everything that happened here. Every trap you fell into, every mistake you made, every time my crew outsmarted your hunters. That recording is already being transmitted to Earth and every human colony in this sector. The alien's eyes widened. What are you saying? I'm saying that by the time this is over, every human in space will know about you and your people. They'll know your tactics, your weaknesses, how you hunt. If any more of your hunters come looking for human prey, they'll find us ready for them. Jake took a step closer. The alien could have killed him easily, but he didn't move. But here's the thing, Jake continued. We don't want to be your enemies. We just want you to leave us alone. So I'm going to make you a deal. What kind of deal? Your ship is still docked to ours. My engineer can fix your systems and you can go home. You tell your people that humans are not prey. You spread the word that hunting us is a bad idea. In return, we don't send this recording to every species in the galaxy and make your people look like fools. The alien thought about this for a long moment. And if I refuse? Jake smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. Then you never leave this ship, and the recording gets sent everywhere. Your people become known as the hunters who got beaten by creatures half their size. How do you think that will affect your reputation? The truth was brutal and the alien knew it. His entire culture was built around being feared as apex predators. If word got out that they had been defeated by humans, their power would be broken forever. You would do this? I would do whatever it takes to protect my crew and my species, Jake said. That's what real apex predators do. We adapt. We survive. We make sure our people have a future. The alien leader made a decision that would change the relationship between his people and humanity forever. He knelt down, lowering his head in what Jake recognized as a gesture of submission. I accept your terms, human captain. My people will know that yours are not to be hunted. Lisa restored power to the alien ship and opened the airlocks. The unconscious aliens were carried back to their vessel by their leader. Before he left, the alien commander turned to Jake one last time. What are you called? Your name will be remembered by my people. Captain Jake Morrison of the cargo ship New Horizon, and you? I am Commander Vextar of the Zephyrian hunting fleet. I will tell my people about this day, about the humans who turned the hunt around. The alien ship undocked and moved away. Jake watched it go on the main screen while his crew gathered around him. Think they'll keep their word? Danny asked. They will, Sam said. Their whole culture is based on honor and reputation. If word got out that they broke a deal with us, they'd lose face with every species in the galaxy. Lisa was already working on repairing the damage to their systems. So what now, Captain? Jake looked at his crew and felt proud of what they had accomplished. They had faced impossible odds and won through teamwork, intelligence, and the simple human refusal to give up. Now we deliver our cargo and go home. But first we make copies of that recording and send them to every human ship, station, and colony we can reach. If any more aliens want to hunt humans, they should know what they're getting into. The New Horizon resumed its journey to Kepler 442b. Behind them, the Zephyrian ship was heading home with a message that would spread throughout the galaxy. Humans were not prey. They were something far more dangerous. They were survivors who could turn any situation to their advantage. The age of hunting humans for sport was over before it had really begun.